Welcome to the state-of-the-art Infinite Legacy Simulation Lab, where our staff practice and improve their skills so they can be effective in both clinical and non-clinical settings alike. Inside the Sim Lab, staff immerse themselves in various scenarios that are likely to play out in real life. In this video, we hope to educate you about the Sim Lab experience, have some fun, and most importantly, empower and inspire those watching to be champions of the Sim Lab, which will allow you to be a champion of your success at Infinite Legacy. Just remember that the most important part of being a victor in the Sim Lab is entering each learning experience with a can-do attitude and confidence. You got this. No, but really, you do.
Let me take you on a tour of our simulation lab. We have a few spaces and we're going to walk through that so you can see what we like to work with our folks with. We have our ICU. So this is a space that we work with our clinical teams when they are doing a case initiation for a donor, when they are speaking with families to have the difficult but passionate conversation about organ donation and the decision that they can make for their loved one. So with this room, we do have a lot of the equipment that you would see in an ICU. We have a ventilator, we have our IV poles, medications. We do have a mannequin. We can do a physical assessment. We can adjust things, and it just brings the realness into the room and into the space of taking care of a donor. If you walk your way over to here, we do have an OR space. So how we work in the OR is we do have our high fidelity mannequin. He can blink, the mannequin can breathe, it has heart tones, there are, you can feel for pulses. So when we want to really get into physical assessments and the OR and making it as real as possible, we utilize this sim mannequin for a lot of those reasons. As our teams are learning how to listen to lung sounds, listen to different types of heart tones, we can put an IV in him, we can run medications. This really brings in that realism for our teams and allows them to immerse themselves into a true patient care and OR experience. This is actually a recording system solely for simulation. So you can see we have a real simulation happening right here. That happens to be a donation conversation simulation. We can watch in real time, and then when we go and we debrief with our learner, that allows us to bring up the recording, play the recording in real time with them, and let them self-reflect.
It is such a fantastic method of education for both new and tenured staff. For tenured staff, it reinforces best practices. For newer staff, it's teaching them new skills and processes.
It's giving me the confidence because I was allowed to make mistakes and learn from them and grow in a no pressure environment.
One of the hallmarks of our simulation program is we really want to help new and tenured team members know that it is a safe space, that they can trust us, they can trust each other, they're going to learn, they're going to get to practice, make mistakes, try that language choice that maybe doesn't resonate and adapt it and know that it truly is safe.
Honest feelings, I love simulation, I love kind of doing hands-on things, so when we're training, it's helpful. I think it's very helpful in terms of getting in the room, being cross-trained really with clinical recovery coordinators and being able to simulate whether it's an ICU situation, whether it's talking to a family member or even staff like a physician or attending in the ICU.
I struggled with public speaking for a little while, and actually like presenting and doing some of these things in the sim lab with other employees and people in different departments has made me be able to communicate more effectively, at least I think so. But it's also given me a chance to reflect on my learning styles and my teaching styles to help people that may learn differently than I do.
Over 50% of our sims are actually communications simulations, so working with donor families, working with hospital partners. So the ability to do that here in our Baltimore office as well as in our Falls Church office, we are so excited, and I think we're only at the beginning of what's even possible.
There are different levels of simulation based on how much support a team member needs. Immersion is the first level of simulation, in which a team member has the opportunity to navigate a scenario with help from their trainers and the facilitator. Team members can pause, ask questions, or ask to start over. Immersion often has a broader scope. Simulation is an opportunity to demonstrate mastery prior to being out in the field. During a simulation, team members are asked to navigate a scenario independently. Simulation is more focused on implementation of specific objectives and is usually no longer than 15 or 20 minutes.
Skills practice is much more informal than a simulation or an immersion. These sessions are often unscheduled and can take place without an education team member present. When the lab is not in use, team members are welcome to come in, utilize the sim space, the equipment and supplies we have in here, and work on those hands-on skills that will prepare you for and supplement your experiences out in the field. SPs, or standardized participants, are used to bring an element of realism to our scenarios. Many of our SPs are actors or volunteers, and they come in and they play the role of family, physician, nurse, or other hospital staff, and help team members practice language choices and navigating challenging conversations.
Pre-brief is done prior to the simulation with the SPs. During this time, we review the goals and objectives for the simulation and discuss strategies for navigating the sim, including the level of difficulty, important talking points, and helpful steps for the learner.
So all sim scenarios technically start with objectives because that's how we build them and that's how we determine what our learner focuses and how long the sim scenario goes. So that way, as they're going through the scenario, everybody's basically taking like a checklist of did they meet this objective, did they meet that objective, and then once they do that, we can call the session.
Debrief is the most important part of simulation and where most of the learning happens. During debrief, learners are guided through a reflection on their experience. Successes are celebrated and learners are provided with areas of opportunity to focus on moving forward.
We hope you learned a lot watching this video and that you have the confidence to become a champion of the Sim Lab and a champion of your success at Infinite Legacy.